Hey guys, how's it going? It is March 4th, 2018, and yes, you're seeing my ugly face and my drink and my Chase Pizza's shirt or whatever the hell this says. I don't know. My ex gave this to me. Pretty cool, actually. See, I look like a bum on the couch here. Wow. Oh yeah, the camera's over here. I'm used to looking this way. Okay, so let me first figure out, first of all, before I begin, and I didn't post this on the wiki and I should have, announcing what I was going to be doing tonight. It was running a little bit late, and I'll explain a little bit more. This is kind of, I wanted to do this question and answer thing, um, but first here, let me just go into my background. I don't know what's showing on the YouTube. I'll have to check that later. I saw myself on there, so that's a good start. But let's see here. First of all, thanks to Paul Duncan, www.niagararails.com. I'll show you that there. See that in the corner. I don't know if that's actually how, is my face showing that much? Yeah, that sucks. I don't want my face to be that big, but I was toying around with this for a little bit, and yeah, we were chasing this afternoon into this evening, and this was just after sunset, and this is a CP line, Hamilton, CP Hamilton sub out of Welland, Ontario, and yeah, Paul had some good pictures. Yeah, you can see it going into the sun here at Welland Yard. So thanks for Paul. He doesn't get around too much, so we haven't seen each other in about a year. And a few months back, he offered this webcam to me because he had no use for it. I had another friend who, for years, was going to give me a webcam, and never did. I mean, there's a lot of people that just, they have stuff around. I got all kinds of crap around that I got to get rid of. So it's great to have, friends, even colleagues that you don't see that often, and then suddenly they give you just a little device like this, and like, whoa, wow, I got a webcam. So let me go in here and check out my channel just to see what's going on. Because I want to get into my chat. There's nobody watching right now. That's cool. So far it's just me. Maybe I will post. I'll post over on real quickly because I want this to be um, what's going on tonight, and I'll just post. So I'm just typing in here. I don't know what you can see on here because what I see and what you guys see probably are two different things. So over on YouTube, doing a chat Q&A. I should have announced this earlier. I'll try to do more of these once I figure out how I want to get my devices set up. I'm not going to have my camera on the live streams very often, especially when we're doing the Run 8 stuff. But I did want to go, should be here for about an hour maybe. Question mark, question mark, question mark, and I'll post that to the Wikia. So that's going up now. Now let me see here if I
I'm
can
not
get.
going to have my
Oh
camera on
Jesus!
the live streams.
Take the volume down. Where's my chat? Okay, so I can pop this out, can I not? Nobody pop out the chat. Thank you. Okay, that works out not too bad. Right here, right where my face would be. Does that sound good? It's not too bad at all. I guess that's where my face is going to be. Is that down below a canoe? I don't even know what the hell's there. I got a channel in front of me, and then I got the camera. But what's What's actually showing right now is my face taking up 3/4 of the screen, which I really don't need it to be, because you don't need to see my ugly face that much. But I will show you some pictures from tonight. Hopefully they will show up. If they don't, I apologize. What do we got here? Oh yeah, hold on. I'll get there. Go back into the email. Hopefully the chat still shows. If not, oops, I don't want to. That's my chat. That's good. Nothing, nobody on chat yet, so I didn't see the Paul. If you're around, I did not see your sunglasses. Might have lost some stuff in the driveway there. Just give me a minute, guys, and then I'll get to the milk and cookies or whatever the hell I want to talk about. So yeah, get it into the shouldn't be so Niagara Rails. I don't think that's giving away his email. Hopefully, I think it is, but you go over to the www.niagararails.com, you'll be able to see these pictures. This was of this evening. Oh yeah, that's nice. Zoom in thing. I don't know what train this was either. We're trying to figure that one out, 400 and something, but let's see here. I think this was the last picture. Yeah, pretty much. I think there was any others. Yeah, we were coming up to the road there. It was through the window. Didn't work out too well. Phillips Road, CP Hamilton Sub Wainfleet. www.niagararails.com if you want to see more. He doesn't get out too often, but if you're ever looking for a lot of pictures of this area, or just, you wanted to do models run 8, or well, not run 8 because you can't do it, but skins. I mentioned run 8. What a joke. Uh, don't get me wrong, I love run 8. But to actually do skins in run 8, well, number one, I'm not a big fan of that because they guys don't want to that. So it's not a joke that run 8 could do it. It's just run 8 can't. Or run 8's not supposed to be doing it. How about that? Okay, so that's all of my email for now. That's my pictures. I still got nobody on chat, huh? Oh man. It's kind of weird, sometimes I don't know if it's notification on and then the people just boom, they pop in, and by the time I'm through this, they're watching my live stream. So I don't even know how many people are in here, if anybody. I should be streaming. I guess I'm streaming. I don't know. Um, so not too much else going on, to say the least. Now, I was supposed to do a live stream with the sorry, getting comfy on my couch here. Oh, might go for a walk tonight. It was a beautiful day. So I wanted to do a channel update as to what's going on as far as this is. Man, I should be sitting in a chair. Sorry, I don't have a good studio. Yeah, my camera is on my rail driver right now. So, this is probably not professional. I don't care. I've never really cared too much about being professional, and I got a light in the corner, which the last time I did a camera video, I was probably dealing with stuff that I wanted to talk about, real world stuff, and I'll get to that very shortly because that's kind of the ideas with the camera. When I'm doing a live stream like Run 8 or any other video game for that matter, I don't think you guys need to see me at all. I know some people like to put their mug into the live stream shots to show that there's a human being behind the voice that you hear, and that's great and all. Let's see how this thing's working. Hold on a second here. Just want to see something. So my sound's up there. Well, looks like everything's okay. I've got like windows all over the place here, well, sort of opened up, and then you just got the desktop in the background. So I'll have to minimize this camera a little bit. Man, sorry, I'm just getting used to this. And I got this painting way the freak up here. I got my face down here on the couch. It looks like I'm going to fall off the monitor or something. So I thought I'd open up the chat. Normally I don't have the chat open in my live streams, and the reason why is because I can't see your chat messages unless you want to chat with each other. So perhaps maybe I'll put that in the description of the videos from now on. I'll just leave the chat open if you guys want to talk, chat with each other or whatever. That's fine by me. As you can see, there's a very, very bright reflection coming off my glasses, and that's because I got across the room, I got my rail driver right here where this camera is. Oh boy. And yeah, I don't have see, there's my fingers right there. See, there's the camera. The rail driver is right down there. I can turn it around if you want to see it, but the problem is if I turn my camera around, you will see a mess. You think I look like a slob? If you were looking this way, you think I invite people in? The only person that comes into my house is, well, people looking for the property who have to come in, unfortunately, and then I put the dishes away, but and the dirty clothes away. But other than that, ugh. Cleanup is one of my least priorities. I probably look like a slob. I probably act like a slob. Actually, I'm very professional. Uh, but on the weekends and my days off and my time off, I just try to relax. I drink, this is the drink I have, yes, Coke Zero. Crap. Crap for your body. It looks like, that's why my body kind of looks like crap on this camera. I was supposed to walk today, but anyways, I'm yapping about it. I'm really trying to be as social to this camera as I possibly can, give you an idea of who I am. Still waiting for some chat, but man, there's nobody here. Wow. Okay. So we'll see how many thumbs down this video gets. I wanted to do a live stream tonight. As far as the Run 8 goes, the reason why, because we were out, what had happened was I dropped my son off at about 1 o'clock, and it was a beautiful day out, and my first thought was I really want to start addressing some things and getting into some other projects. So one of this thing here, can I bring it down without killing the camera? I got it resting on my throttle. Oh, goodbye. See? Yeah. Oh my God, that's horrible. This camera sucks. No, it doesn't. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. Well, that's a little better. Okay. I just want to hide my hands because it looks like I don't look like that, do I? When I'm just relaxed on the couch like that? That's actually pretty good. I just got it resting there, and yeah, I wouldn't be able to operate a train. I could operate the mouse just like this. My keyboard's down below. I got this little stand right in front of me. I got this horrible T-shirt. You're lucky I'm clothed. Well, no, you're not. I just. Anyways, I'm blabbing around about crap that I shouldn't be, and I'm probably boring the hell out of people. But anyways, nobody's watching right now, so that's cool. Uh, I feel like I'm drunk. I'm not. Trust me. I'm in a good mood. It's good to be in a good mood on a Sunday. So what had happened was it was a beautiful day today. I was on my way home, and then I realized it was such a nice day, so I gave my friend Paul a call, and what I what I was going to end up doing at that point was I thought, he offered me a webcam. I hadn't talked to him since probably late fall last year, I think. We couldn't figure out when that was. He says he hasn't seen me in 2 years. I said, no, I saw you last year about the same time. He just lives in Welland, which is, basically the next city over from me. And so I wound up calling him up, and either his phone was crappy or my cell phone was crappy, but we could barely hear each other. And then finally, I said, "What are you up to?" Because a lot of times he's busy. He's out and about on a day like today. I was surprised I got him. And he said he wasn't doing anything. And I said, "You mind if I come over?" I says, "Do you still have that camera available?" And he did. And he was even going to offer me some boxes of Kraft dinner at one point. I wasn't really interested in the Kraft dinner so much but I would have took it for him, um, off his hands if he wasn't interested. But no, I wound up getting the webcam, and I was at the door with him, and he said, "Do you mind if we go out?" I said, "No, that's the least I can do. You just gave me a web camera." Sure, why not? And we used to do this all the time. We used to do this every Saturday, him and I. Ski and I used to do this a lot too, a lot on a Sunday. Unfortunately, Ski's, I miss you, Ski. Wish you, I know you're busy with whatever the heck you're busy with, but yeah, we ended up, it's kind of different from where, um, actually Paul and I went to the same place Ski and I, when we first met. We first met in Fort Erie. He came over to the Canadian side, and yeah, we hung out at Fort Erie and did basically the same thing, and um, I was like, yeah, well, yeah. I asked him where he wanted to go. He wanted to go to Fort Erie because that's kind of the place that he lives in Welland, so it's a little ways away. And he said, yeah, sure. Fort Erie sounds good. So we headed off to Fort Erie, and the yard was empty, which basically means there was no interchange going on. And we checked out, and we saw that the signal was restricting red, red, yellow, which meant CN was coming, but the yard was empty and NS wasn't there because that's usually where NS will come into interchange. So we knew CN was coming for their interchange, but we didn't know what was happening with NS. And sure enough, CN came in and watched them come in and pulled a nice long train, set off their cars, went to the other side by the border crossing, the international bridge, Niagara River. Watched him come out of there, basically shot the breeze, and watched him leave. And now it's getting 3 o'clock, and we're wondering if NS is going to come across. And I said, well, what's your time like? I says, you got supper planned? Because I mean, I didn't have anything waiting for me other than what I would have normally done, and I knew I had to get dishes done tonight if I was going to have dishes for a meal, and I was going to do groceries, which I never got around to doing, so I'll do it tomorrow anyways. But so he said he was in no hurry. I said, well, oh, if you want, we can go over to Subway. They have a special steak and cheese and mushroom. I saw a YouTube commercial of all places because I don't have cable. I don't see commercials. I saw a YouTube commercial and it was Subway, which steak. I'm pretty sure it was Subway. Had to have been. I don't know where else I would have saw it on. Maybe I don't know. Maybe someplace else. Maybe a website. I don't know. It wasn't on TV though. That's for damn sure. And so yeah, I got one of those. It was pretty good. The mushrooms, I've had steak and cheese there before, but with the mushrooms, pretty good. Pretty expensive too, but it's pretty good. It's okay food for eating out, right? And we figured we'd go do that and make sure that we got there before NS showed up, and NS hadn't shown up, so we were still waiting around, and it's like, man, NS isn't showing up, and it's starting to get a little later, and sun's starting to go down, and it's like, yeah, well, I says, if it doesn't show up soon, well, I says, we'll just head back because, I got a few things I want to do. I wanted to do the live stream tonight. I wanted to, I did want to run the session. I was hoping to be home by 7 to get the 4 hours in, but that didn't work out. And it was just past 7 when I came in the door, so um, I knew that wouldn't work out tonight, so I'll do it tomorrow night. So anyway, I wasn't that excited about it, to be honest. I'm just chilling out now, so um, so that didn't work out, and then all of a sudden I saw a train coming across. And it was CN. I saw the CN leader. You see it across at Blackrock, and I said, I saw the second unit, right? I'm thinking it's a CN train coming back, and I didn't know what's happening, but the second unit was CP, and I said, I swear the second unit, Paul. I says, I swear that second unit was CP. That's not the same CN train. And we couldn't tell for sure because by then we had drove over a little bit just to see it coming across. And sure enough, the second unit was CP, and that wasn't the same train that was interchanging. I was like, what the hell? I said, I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, okay, is it CN or is it CP? I said to Paul, because CP has trackage rights over the international bridge, so it gets back on its own track at Welland. And I said, that's CP. I said, that's that short little CP train you were telling me about, because he was telling me about a 400 series train. And we saw another CP train before that, 254, I think it was. Well, it looked like CP, or see, it looked like two. We don't know for sure because we didn't have a scanner on, but it looked like CP 254. And yeah, I saw that come across. So that was the third train, and headed across, and that was cool. So we raced back to Welland. We actually got some really good. He probably had some good shots. I don't know if it worked any well, but he was going on track speed, and we were driving along the road beside and tried to get a few shots, but I didn't see any emails of that, so I don't know if it worked out or not. But we got there, and I was like, okay, that's cool. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and then we get to the junction where it's CN and CP, and I don't know if we're ahead of this thing or behind it. And I'm trying to look at signals. The sun's coming down, so it's beating in my eyes, which means it's going to be nice and bright towards the east, which makes it hard as hell to see the signals, right? Um, and I can't see any signals going the other way because there's only an intermediate at that point. So I drove up to the CN tracks, and both signals are red. The control points are both red, and I said there's nothing lined up. So there's nothing lined up on CN. We go back down to CP, and I can't tell the signal. Finally, I noticed we went through the tunnel underneath the Welland Canal. Then we came back around because I still couldn't see the intermediate. I still couldn't see a train. I said, okay, I'm driving back. And meanwhile, I'm on fumes in my car thinking, okay, yeah, I'm going to run out of gas or some stupid thing. But I knew I wasn't. I knew I couldn't be screwing around too much. Came back through the tunnel, and then I finally saw the intermediate. I said, the intermediate's red CP. Means CP's coming. Then I saw the light right behind it, and I was like, yeah, there he is. So he wanted to get a shot of that one shot there was in front of the Welland yard office, and he was just heading into the yard getting his updated switch list from car control CP, and that was the end of our rail fanning for Niagara. Like just like that, 3 trains, whoopee-doo, right? But for us in Niagara, that's pretty good. Like even if you go across the border, I always it's kind of funny having Ski come over a few times, and we'd see 3 trains, and I'm thinking to myself, man, this guy's got to be bored as hell. I'm thinking, but that's the kind of thing now relating where all this story goes to. Now I was rail fanning 3 weeks ago up at I was rail fanning in. I'll get to the channel update very shortly. I figure I'd just share some of these rail fanning stories for you guys because this is my base. This is rail fans and Run 8 and all that. Quincy, finally, you've never seen my voice? This is cool that I chat with you guys. So I don't know why I'm chatting because I can just reply to it. But so that's cool. Yeah, that's on my Coke Zero. Um, so yeah, so that was the rail fanning for tonight. Then I headed back, and oh yeah, I was going to mention about Burlington. So a few weeks ago, my son had a karate tournament, and he was off. We Burlington. For those of you who've ever been around the Golden Horseshoe, Lake Ontario, Toronto, um, the one area over there, probably one of the hot spots for Canada, which isn't saying much, is Bayview, Burlington area because you have the lines that come from both CN, CP, and then you have the line that heads to Sarnia, Detroit, Windsor. Uh, Always wanted to put a face to the voice. Yeah, yeah, ditto. Um, Gotta do a live stream too, Quincy. So, and this isn't my most. I just got this web camera. That's why I'm trying it out tonight. If you look at my YouTube video channel, you will find a video somewhere of me in a camera. Which one that is, I don't know. So, hey Jordan. So now people are coming on. Oh, that's cool. So, yeah. So we had the karate tournament, and then we stopped by Burlington West, and we actually saw one of the trains. We actually get 421 or whatever its counterpart is now, because there's like two trains. I don't even know the numbers anymore because we don't follow too much, but we actually get 2 mile long trains that come into Niagara now. 421 has mid train DPUs that come up the Niagara Escarpment, which is basically Niagara Falls. So the escarpment's basically the level between Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. So it's fun watching those come up. But that when we see all the GO trains, which are basically uh, the commuter trains that come in and out from Toronto up to Burlington, Hamilton area, and can't I'm on board a train and that spells trouble. Oh, he's on. Where you running, Quincy? What train are you on? Whereabouts are you? Are you say where? What are you? I can't even say where you used to be working because you changed, or you did you were with one railroad, then you were with another, or something. Well, he was like, yeah. I know he was in the one area. He was like Fostoria at one time, but I was just actually I'm going up to Folkestone this weekend, so that's going to be cool. Not this week. Yeah, this weekend coming up. See you, Jordan. Have a good one, man. Oh, you are in Fostoria. Q616. Ooh, nice. Fun stuff. So that's cool. I don't know the number too well, but I don't know that I'd have to look up at my I'd have to look up at all my charts and try to figure out what that train is, but I'll try to remember that. Cool. So yeah, so yeah, we got to hang out in Burlington a few weeks back. So that was the last rail fanning that I had done. And then we're heading into Folkestone. So I'm wondering not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday, I'm headed down. I'll be stopping in Statesville, North Carolina. No, I'll be stopping in Washington, Pennsylvania, Statesville, North Carolina, Folkestone, Georgia, 2 nights. So not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday. That's our March break up here. And 616 is the sick child of the fleet. This is actually fun doing the live streams and seeing the chat. See, unfortunately, when I'm doing a normally when I'm doing a live stream, especially if I'm in the middle of a simulator, it's difficult for me to pop out that chat window. I mean, I can hide my ugly face. That's no big deal. Um, but to actually see, or not even have a webcam on, but to, I got this chat window popped, but and I know I can set it so that I don't either see the chat window or I don't see the chat window. It's kind of difficult because I don't have two monitors in front of my face. I got the one TV at this end, but when I'm doing this kind of stuff, this is cool to have to be able to see the chat windows. Um, Especially, if people have questions or anything like that. I mean, shoot them. I should have scheduled this sooner. This was kind of a last minute thing tonight. So yeah, I'll be doing folks. We'll be heading down to Folkestone for March break. Um, that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to that. But that kind of segues into some of the things that are going on with me and what's next for me and what's next for this channel and what's next for everything else. First of all, as I said at the beginning, if you're just joining or whatever and didn't catch it, because of everything that happened today, as far as the nice day out and going to get the the love cam, the webcam, and actually doing that little bit of rail fanning towards the end, it got too late, and I decided not to do the normal live stream of running the test sessions tonight. I'll do that tomorrow. Um, I'm not that excited about doing it. I haven't really thought much about it, but by tomorrow I'll be interested in doing it and I won't be distracted. So I'll have plenty of time to do it, and then I'll catch up on things tonight. Take it easy for the rest of the evening, and so I will be doing the Run 8 stuff tomorrow. And no, I will not be doing a camera, but from now on, I will leave this chat open for anybody who wants to chat with each other. I just won't be able to see it, and I'll have to somehow put that in my comments because I really have no way of doing it. I don't have a smartphone. I don't have no other way that I can think of that would allow me, unless I had a bunch of windows all over the damn place. I can't think of how I would be able to see my own uh, live stream chats and be able to focus on everything else. I can certainly reply verbally to anybody that I see, just like I'm looking at the chat right now, and do it. But I mean, I got a second monitor or a second computer in here. I might be able to. That's my son's computer. The old server is just over. Yeah, that away. I'm trying to think. Everything's opposite here. I'm like, what? I'm not pointing that way. I was like, okay, I'm pointing that way, but it's actually facing that way. It's called mirrored. Anyways, uh, Discord. Yeah, yeah, I know I can use Discord, but um, the problem with Discord is if my thing is trying to do the chats. How would I use Discord? Like, I mean, I can use the YouTube and live stream, but Discord, then I'm kind of, isn't that the same as TeamSpeak? I don't know. It's way more flexible. I don't know. Somebody would have to teach me or tell me or show me. But I can rearrange things. It's not going to happen right now, anyways. But I'll look into it and see what I can do. I was thinking of getting that monitor or that old server of my son's. I got to talk to him a little bit about it. Maybe Tuesday I might have a talk with him and see if he's thinking of an arrangement that we can make here that would allow us to better have these computers closer together. But we'll see. Yeah, I don't like TeamSpeak. I don't know if I'll like Discord either. I don't like the verbal chat or using the verbal communications. I don't mind doing the live stream, and I don't mind checking the chat while I'm doing a live stream. I'm okay with that. But other than that, once I'm in the mode, especially if I'm if I'm running the trains, I want to see the full screen. I want to see the dispatch, especially when I'm dispatching. So I'm pointing, going back and forth between the dispatch board and what I'm doing on the roads. So especially if I'm doing both. If I'm just dispatching, it's not so bad. I have a big enough screen, but I don't have two screens. I have this big high definition screen in the back, and then I have my son's smaller computer, which used to be the old RTS server. But that's that. Okay, so anyways, where were we? So that's the rail fanning side of things. So Run 8 stuff will return tomorrow. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm it's working out okay. I just don't know how much I'm into it as much as I used to be. There's a lot of other things I'm more excited about, but we'll see. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's not so bad. It's not so bad when it's relaxed because um, the cool thing about California, there's no way I could do it with A-Line or the Sanford sub. Sanford sub was nuts, and I never thought it would be until I started trying to figure out where every grade crossing was. Um, Even a little bit of the Mojave sub's a little interesting, especially south of Mojave, because there's a lot more grade crossings I'm unfamiliar with. But when you're on the mountain, it's actually, you know everything's slow speed. You know where the grade crossings are. I've ran that territory so many damn times that I pretty much, I know when I can go into dispatch. I know when I can get away from it. So I could actually pop into a chat window, to be honest. So that might work. We'll see. But I won't guarantee anything. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Um, so let me go a little bit further now, because this is supposed to be a channel update, question and answer, uh, whatever else is going on. And I just wanted to test out this camera tonight and see what's going to happen. Um, so as far as projects going forward, I haven't been doing any self-teaching much of too much of anything. If anything, the one thing that I'm going to be focusing on next is probably going to be some books um, that are on somebody who I follow on YouTube called The Money GPS. And he's got basically some ebook, a couple ebooks, and he's really good as far as educating you about the markets and as far as what's going on. And you know I've learned a lot. One of the things that's probably going to take my focus uh, is going to not it's not going to take me away from Run 8. I think I'm going to continue to do that as far as I can tell until it just becomes not I want to give it a shot anyways. Even if I'm not as enthusiastic about it, I might get more enthusiastic about it. And like I said before, I want to have that hobby. I want to have, and this is going to be the hobby side. There's going to be other games I'm into. The interesting thing is I don't know who my base. Well, I know who my base is, but I don't know who my new subscribers are. I've been reaching out to a lot of my different interests, whether it be subsistence on the weekends that I run with my son. There's other games we're looking into, and then we're looking into develop. I may not even develop into a train simulation game. I've been thinking more and more about that as of late. So one of the first things that I'm probably going to be doing, of course, I'm going away in a week, so I'll have a lot of time to talk with my son and see where his head's really at on these things, because it's going to be a lot is going to matter on what he wants to do, because a lot of my free time revolves around him. So anywhere between, you got Tuesday night, Thursday night for a few hours after I get off from work till 8:30, 9 p.m. at night. That's all just him and I. Whatever he wants to do, I don't care. I'm not babysitting him. We're doing stuff together, father and son. So whatever he wants to do is fine by me. Ditto on Friday. Once Friday hits, I've got him all the way till Sunday to 1 o'clock. So again, whatever he wants to do is fine by me. He doesn't ask for much. He doesn't demand much. You know, I mean, it's crazy. But this segues into a lot of the things that's on my mind. What's really going on with me right now? Um, a lot of things have happened. First of all, I like my job, and I'm not looking to replace my job. I'm not looking to become a millionaire. I'm not looking to be, um, I'm not looking to change any of that. That is my foundation. And as long as that's my foundation, first of all, I don't have enough to go on to ever quit my job and go 100% into something. It just ain't gonna happen, and nor would I take that risk. It's not about guts, or it would just be stupid. I had that opportunity. I was unemployed for a long time, and I had the opportunity through a lot of the time during Run 8, and I didn't take advantage of it then, nor was I really motivated to do so. And here I am lying on a couch with a webcam that makes me look like I'm a slob. But that's just the way it is. I'm not in a studio. This is my webcam. This is my life. This is where I lie on the couch and relax because you know that's how I'm comfy. So what's going to happen? My first priority is to get that ebook and start reading it. It talks about different ways of making money. Making a side income is going to become more and more important for me. Uh, well, uh, honestly, there's a part of me, yeah, and I know. See, the thing is, you have your riffraff too, and you probably would be quite comfortable with my job. Quincy was saying, you want to trade jobs, you can do mine, I'll do yours, and you can deal with all the riffraff that's going on. Um, the interesting thing about that, and I remember there was a time where you had some interesting offers with yard jobs or something like that. There was Niagara Falls, no, no, not Niagara Falls, Buffalo Frontier and Fostoria. There was a time where that really appealed to me, and it's still, I mean, somebody was telling me the other day, um, no, 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 not somebody was telling me the other day. Actually, Paul and I were talking. I was telling him we were kind of I was saying to him because we hadn't seen each other in a while, and I, was just telling him about some of the things, and telling him about my job and all that stuff, just making sure he knew what was going on. Yeah, I know CSX is falling apart. That's why I laughed. That's why I wasn't saying yes. That old fart that died decided to. And this segues into everything that's on my mind, and trust me, I'm getting to it because a lot of what that old fart that ran your company into the ground that basically turned. I'll get to that real quick because hopefully what I'm going to be presenting might be because I know I don't know the details. Yep, I don't like to talk about a dead guy, but here's the thing, and I'm gonna get to. Honestly, I'm gonna get to that because a lot of the Hunter Harrison type of the world. And now they got, yeah, and he's going to be doing the same things. Honestly, I really want to segue into that right away, but I'll get to that in a minute because because Hunter Harrison is a prime example of corporatism and how things are. I need, and this has to do with a lot of people. A lot of people, medium income, and I mean some people are making a little bit more money, but are being treated like slaves. You know, Skis, he's a programmer. I don't know where he is these days. I know he's a lot busier. He's a vice president of a company out of the Buffalo area. I haven't seen him in a while, so I really don't know. Every now and then we email each other. He might see me. Uh, Hopefully he's happy, but then again, he has to do what he has to do, right? Unfortunately, people have to pay the bills and what have you, but people know that a lot of stuff's going on. Now, here I am. I joked with Paul tonight. Now, Paul is on he's on disability. A lot of people are for various reasons. My ex-wife was on disability. I've never been qualified for disability, though I do have issues. I'm on medication. Um, I wouldn't qualify for disability, nor would I want to be on disability. But hell, I would take it. Well, I guess I would take it, but I would feel like a goof for doing it. But the people who are on disability for whatever reasons, you know, the, the thing is, people get on disability rolls a lot because there's no jobs out there, and the median. Uh, Here, let me sit up so I don't look like a slob so much. Or try to sit up a little bit. The uh, the wages are stagnant, and I know a lot of people are out there with minimum wage and saying, "Well, yeah, you need to increase the minimum wages." Problem is when you increase the minimum wages, you increase the cost of everything else. I can tell you right now, I make 16 bucks an hour, Canadian, that is. So it sounds quite a bit because it's over that 15. My job is not very difficult. I know some people who work minimum wage who work a lot harder than I do. I like my job. It's not stressful. It has stressful times, but I can tell you right now that I make 16 an hour. I can say that, I suppose. If somebody sees my YouTube video, it's like, okay, well, whatever. And I work 35 hours a week. You do the math. That's 30,000 a year. Thing with today, 30,000 a year. I got 710 rent a month. I pay for a cable package. Remember, everything is Canadian. And the difference between Canadian and US dollars is a lot of things around here cost a lot more. My rent is 710 a month. That's very cheap in this area. The average rent in Niagara right now is at 1,000. Actually, sorry, that's the low median. The average is higher. 1,000, because this place of mine was for sale. I got the third owner taking over pretty soon. $1,000. If I got evicted, even though I didn't do anything wrong, I pay my rent on time, all the time. If something was to have happened or something is to happen and I got evicted, I'm screwed. I'm not screwed. I shouldn't say that. I wouldn't be say screwed's basically there would be a major shift in what I do, and I have finances, I have RRSPs, I have different investments in the background that's there to protect me. But this is why now I'm starting to look at the way I'm spending in these long trips, and I love these trips. I love traveling. Uh, my son and I have some of the greatest times going on some of these trips, but we're going to start focusing on day trips. And as opposed, because it costs in Canadian dollars, it costs on average $100 a night to stay in any motel, whether it be in the States or whatever. Um, whether it's eating out, whatever it is in between. And I mean, you can stop at grocery stores and have a cooler and do a lot of other things, but really you're still spending minimum $100 a day on any road trip. So road trips are great. Day trips are a little cheaper, but still any type of travel is expensive. I get 2 weeks of vacation, I get holidays, no problems. I like my job. I don't want to leave my job. And the way I see it right now, I'll be there till retirement if all goes well. Fourth generation of the company is one of the salesmen who works there. President right now is third generation of the family. So it's a long-standing family business. It's hopefully not going to ever be taken over by a corporate conglomerate because I've seen it happen. So where I'm going with all this talk is this. It would be great for me to easily get into something like a train simulator. And I could. Of course, I would have to learn or use other services, and there's been a lot of people who've offered, and that's great. But ultimately, what's going to happen? I'll continue to do Run 8. I'll continue to do my live streams as a hobby. Um, but moving forward, I have to decide what's really the best way for me to make some money on the side without having to lose the security of my job. I'm going to still do live streams as well for on the weekends with other programs. I'm going to explore other programs. Um, for those of you that are watching and who may like subsistence or may like other things, even though they're not getting as many views, I did get a bit of a peak recently, so that's good. Um, Subsistence, hitting trees and going out and shooting hunters and fishing, waiting for a fish to catch. It's kind of boring, especially if you're just watching for hours. But then again, you could say the same thing for some people who aren't into trains, watching you run down the same line all the time and honking a horn every 30 minutes or so at a grade crossing in the middle of the desert. Um, so yeah, it's kind of it depends on who the audience is. So I know who my real audience is. I know who my core audience is. I know who my core subscribers are. I'm well aware of that, and the views show you. The subsistence I looked at the views, and I actually reached out to a few people. All of a sudden I had a subscriber bump, and then I had a bunch of thumbs up for a subsistence video that had maybe 30 to 40 views over the weekend, the first one, and I had like 6 thumbs up. I'm like, whoa, I'm a long way from 1,000 subscribers. So monetizing YouTube, as much as I would love to do it, is probably not going to. Number one, if I can't get 1,000 subscribers, I can't make a cent. Live streams, I don't know if the chats allow you to do the super chats or whatever where you donate or something like that. I've done it on other people's live streams. I don't even know if it works because I got monetization off right now. I could try that, but I don't really feel like having that as a way of making money. I could, but really we're in a micro niche here, unfortunately, with the train simulation. There's only so far you can go with it. So I'm going to read that ebook at work because I get 1 hour breaks for lunch. I got plenty of time. If I'm not out going for a walk on a nice day like today, even though I didn't get to go for a walk, but I did yesterday, um, I go out for a walk. If I'm not going out for a walk, then I get to read an ebook, or I get to read an ebook at home. So that's going to help me at least give me a little bit of direction as to where I want to go. One of the directions that I'm probably going, and it's going to be part of this channel, is totally unrelated to train simulation. It hasn't been received well in the past. Um, in fact, the last time I did any type of live stream with me and a webcam, I did not get very good ratings. Maybe it was because I was just an ugly face and it wasn't appealing to my audience at the time. So Dovetail Games just made it major. What did they do? What did Dovetail Games do? Hold on a second here. What's going on? Did I miss something over the weekend? Tell me what's going on here. I wanna see. I'm curious about this. Before I get into it, I do want to see what's going on here. Uh, let's see. How do I open up another without having? I thought I had two windows open and suddenly I closed another one. Okay, here, let's do this. New window. Thank you. Okay. What's going on? Oh! Dovetail and Microsoft. Say what? Okay, is this on the home page of Train Sim or no, they're not even mentioned. Okay, I can see the New York thing. Ooh! Xbox? Holy crap. Okay, this is crazy. Train Sim World comes to Xbox. Uh-oh. That is actually that's that. What the hell? Well, run 8 as far as I'm concerned. Now that the PC users have done the beta testing for them. I gotta read this tomorrow. I'm gonna have to read that one tomorrow. That's funny. Wow. Trains and releasing Train Sim World to Xbox. I haven't I'm not gonna read the article right now, but good for them. It belongs in Xbox, quite frankly, because it sucks. I honestly, I really was hoping Train Sim World would be great because had it just done, had the whole open concept thing, had they had the whole open concept, if they did what Run 8 did as far as the sandbox mode, I don't care about world editors. I know I take it UE4 from what I understand is very difficult to do the editors in. Like in other words, to have the user interface editors, sort of like what Trains does and Microsoft Train Simulator did. I guess it's difficult to do. So I understand if they don't have at least a world editor. I'm even cool with other editors, but to have the ability to mod it should be up there. Run 8 should still be able to be moddable too, as far as I'm concerned, but I do understand why they don't. Let me just here. Ooh, wow, we got the chat exploding now. TSW could have been major, but DTG was way over there. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, anytime it goes to a console, yeah, the PC, forget it. Which is good for Run 8. I've said for a long time, and I know the guys at Run 8 think that they have competition. They might have market share issues. They do not have competition. I bitch and complain a lot about Run 8, but I do it because I'm a fan. And hopefully they can continue to produce, give us whatever free content they can in the meantime to keep pleasing those that have already gone into it. They don't have to, they're not obligated to, but they've done a great job at surprising us. And let them go ahead if they want to go for a version 3 or whatever. I'm not a huge fan of them going to version 3 too soon, but if that's what they want to do, that's fine. But let's see what content they come out with. If they can come out with a few new worlds or whatever, the issue I have with Run 8 really right now is they are very protective about their intellectual property. And I think they're overprotective personally. I've been there. I've been worried about my own ideas because ideas can be taken so easily. But then I realize, it's just an idea. Um, Everybody has ideas and can take an idea. It's the execution of the idea that takes a lot of work. And even if you have an idea, then you have to have somebody with execution. Even with somebody an idea, they haven't told you everything, and I sure haven't. Any idea that I've said publicly, I've thought about a lot deeper than I've ever explained it on any platform or any medium. Um, yeah, Run 8 will. Run 8 will fix the issues. I mean, they have some issues, and unfortunately, and I mean they're really kind of minor from an operation standpoint. I'm the one type of person myself who has always pushed the limits of Run 8. And I'm not talking Run 8 from a physical or a graphical standpoint or running huge trains, but to use that hump in Waycross, for example, I pushed the hell out of it because I would run as many prototypical trains as I can. So I tend to find, like the other day, I mean I saw signal issues at Mojave, and I'm looking at it, I'm thinking to myself, why is this signal not working right? And is it a known issue? And then somebody said, yeah, they had it happen to them. Well, in a lot of places, they don't even run nearly half as many trains in that area because they're spread out so freaking thinly because they don't have enough people, or they have one person dispatching 4 friggin' routes or whatever the hell they're doing, or what, I don't know, however else people run, but that's why when you get so big, it's difficult to have the manpower, and then you want to do the operations, then you want to do all the other stuff. So I've always pushed the hell out of the damn thing. It's perfect for operations. Run 8 does not have competition with that. Nobody can do an open box like Run 8 can. Um, Screw. Oh, let's see. So premises of the Xbox gonna the laughs. Maybe TSW they'll put a gun on the engines and they can blow up. I don't know. They have a seagull shooter coming out of as an add-on. Oh, are the type of deal that only want their vision executed in the game, hence no modding. Yeah, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay if they just want to do with their vision, and even if they're stubborn, that's okay. I'm cool with that. I really am. I enjoy Run 8 too. Uh, yeah, I don't know too much about XNA, to be honest. But they've talked about other, I got to be careful what I say because I'm always under that quote unquote. I'm still under an NDA. I don't know why I'm under an. The hell have I know? I've been off the beta team for what, 4 years? Uh, yeah, but anyways, I know. No, I better not say. I'll get in trouble. I don't know. There's very, very, very few things I can say that would get me in trouble. But there's one thing that I see that XNA comment, and then I'm thinking to myself, okay, my memory's horrible. So now I'm looking back and I'm thinking to myself, did I actually hear somebody say something once to me about that? And I can't remember. But anyways, I won't even comment on it. I'll just play it. I'll play it careful. I already burn my bridges with Run 8 all the time. As soon as I make a comment, as soon as I make a YouTube, as soon as I bitch and complain about something, I'm a super fan of Run 8. Um, you know, but oh yeah, I know. The thing is, I got nothing to do with I anything that's in Run 8 now. I have nothing to do with. I mean, I was in man. What was I kicked out of the beta team for talking about explosions? No, I can't remember. I was kicked out. Quincy will know. Quincy will probably remember the times I was kicked out of the beta team. I was kicked out twice. No, was it twice? I think I was quick. Yeah, I think I was kicked out twice. Kicked out once. I got kicked out twice. Then we. But no, I wish the Run 8 guys the best. I really do. I mean, despite my lack of enthusiasm, it has nothing to do with Run 8, really. Sweet boy. Oh, well, that's the Run 8 forums. Run 8 forums, Run 8 Depot forums, dams. Oh. Yep. But and there's those that want to see these mega routes and they want to see the mega expansion. I mean, as real as it gets is not running a train from Los Angeles to Needles. Come on, Quincy, you can run a train from Los Angeles to Needles. Pretend it's your real job. Los Angeles to Needles. How many miles is that? Wow. Run out of Hobart Yard, or no, is that UP? I don't know. Whatever the friggin' BNSF yard is. I don't know. Is it Hobart? So so we're gonna get on a train. You're gonna start and you're gonna run from Hobart all the way to, let's say, Needles. Is that as far as it goes right now? No, no, not Needles. Sorry. Seligman sub. Further. Go further. Needles is fine. Um why is people texting me? Oh, I got a text message. Hey, that was 255? CP 255. Oh, all right. Sorry. I got distracted by a text message. I get very few of them. I got very few friends. Um, So I'm telling them to go on my channel. Hold on a second. I'll just be there in a second. I promise I will. I hate texting. I really do. I hate cell phones. If you text me again, I'll ignore it. Uh, I got rid of my smartphones. I got rid of my cable. I got rid of Facebook. I'm still on YouTube and I'm using them because YouTube sucks. But hey, if you don't want to make money off of me, I don't want your shitty advertising, and I'll just use you for whatever I can develop my base. Yeah, yeah, you're still texting me. Stop it. Computer is off. Well, screw you then. But thanks for the camera anyways. Paul. Told him to come on the live stream, but he won't. His computer's off. But he's got his phone on to tell me what train it was. Oh, well, you piss. Quit texting me. Okay, you crash for the night. I don't care about your sleep. You want me to give you a bedtime story? Jesus. Uh, yeah, so now I'll go back to my... See, I don't mind reading the chat because... Oh my God. Gut showing. Well, at least it wasn't on the camera. Uh, I blew up 7 trains. I blew up a train the other day. I don't know how the hell I did it. I forget when the hell. I had a train explosion. But they started doing it again in the hump yards too, which was kind of weird because of whatever change John made or whatever. But unfortunately, it's okay. I didn't have enough people to run a hump and dispatch and switch and do all kinds of other things. So, actually, that would complete the BNSF Transcon just at LA. I feel your pain. Yeah, I hate text. I hate cell phones. You know, I would downgrade this, but this goes back to where when I was starting the whole video, and I guess I'll go back to that a little bit. So whatever our micro niche is, it is what it is. I know it's my base, and I understand that. Um, Eventually, I hopefully my base will come along with me, and I'll still be able to provide the content they're looking for. Because my love for trains and my interest in trains and Run 8, and hopefully at some point this will give me the residual income to continue to pursue my hobbies and other projects. Um, yeah, I know the physics bugs kind of came back, but there's something going on with it. This just started recently. Something else happened when the strings got too long, and I think Waycross exposed it, or Rice Yard did, I should say. But I heard that they were happening in California. They were happening in the humps in California as well. I don't know that because I wasn't running the humps in Run 8 since it's happened, nor am I planning to run them, so I'm not too worried about it. And because of that, I don't have any physics explosion issues at the moment. And hopefully that's a good thing, and we can keep it that way, or at least what I'm doing. But tomorrow I'll be continuing on the Run 8 side. I will have a live stream probably at 7 p.m. Eastern. Um, I'm gonna go out. I'll do some groceries and what have you. But I'll let's see. Yeah, I know. And in order to build it up from the ground up and to really make sure that I'm a part of it. And I'll go with all the advice and all the how-to information and pointing me in the right directions and all that other stuff. I mean I'm always good for free advice. I always appreciate it, and I will always let people know. But I'm a hands-on type person. I don't want people to um, do everything for me. You know, especially if I'm benefiting. I mean, I'm going to share my benefits anyways, but you need to expose yourself more. A lot of people stream to Twitch and they upload the video to YouTube. What, I know people use Twitch, but is it as what's up with Twitch? What would Twitch do for me? I'm just I'm curious about that one. Um, just curious. It's got to be appealing enough to knock DTG off. The problem is I'm not a graphic artist, and I know Quincy, you've talked about various assets, and here's the way I'm looking at it. If I was to do it that way, and I'm not saying I am because I have other things. I actually have some very more pressing ideas that I'm going to talk about that I have in mind before I touch it. I want to see what Run 8 does, but I'm not waiting for Run 8. Trust me, I'm not waiting for Run 8. I'm not waiting for DTG. I'm not waiting for anybody as far as that goes. Wow, 6 grand. You guys should start a forum post about Twitch on the Wikia. Let's have a discussion about that. I mean, chat's cool, but I don't understand it. I've been on Twitch, like kind of just looking at it. I maybe it's to me YouTube has more of an exposure than Twitch. I don't get it. Maybe it's because what I want to know the benefits of Twitch and all that other stuff, but I don't know if I'm going to learn it all tonight in a chat. You know what I'm saying? But I'm open to learn more about that for sure. I've certainly heard of it. No, I don't need to be a graphics artist at all. And the thing is, the way I would approach it, as far as a train simulator goes, the way I've always approached it is it's going to be about data, physics, and calculations, and then I'm going to let the community be able to edit it. I'm not afraid to have the community be able to mod it. I'm not afraid of allowing that because the structure is going to still be fundamentally mine. Um, I'll have my intellectual property in there, but it's going to be the code that's going to drive it. So, and how good of a coder I am, well, we'll wait and see on that one. Um, but I'm willing to re-educate myself. My coding, I'm a dinosaur coder anyways, so um, and honestly, to be honest, I don't enjoy coding. I really don't. I've only done it because I like playing. That's all I've ever done ever since I had a Commodore 64. That's why I coded. Why I tried to make a career out of it is beyond me because I don't think I ever really was passionate about it. All I wanted to do was make some money and have a career. My dad suggested it one day, but anyways, I'm gonna get into that because I'm gonna segue into that. I really am. What time is it? 8:54. Oh, we're doing good. Uh, okay. Well, you can send the odd asset to me now and then. Like just send me a few tidbits by email. You got my email, Quincy. Yeah, just send me some stuff, and I'm not saying I'm gonna play around with it any time, but I'll take the odd asset and take a look at it. You don't have to send me a whole whack of shit. Just some stuff to look at and then play around with it, I guess. I don't know. Put a broader aspect of the people. Oh, okay, I saw that. Don't. Okay, so Twitch is just another streaming service. Yeah. Oh, can I do both at the same time? Can I do Twitch and YouTube at the same time? That'd be interesting. I don't know if I can. Maybe I'll try Twitch. I'm willing to try it. I don't know. That's interesting. I'm surprised Twitch. I know Twitch is popular, but I didn't think they were as popular as YouTube. Now, do people on Twitch make money on the side though? I was looking at something. I was actually looking at something tonight. Somebody had suggested something other than YouTube. I forget the name of it. I can't even remember. It wasn't Twitch, but it was some other streaming, not streaming. It was some other uh, YouTube-like service. I can do both at the same time. Cool. Okay. Well, I'll look into it. Sure. I'll definitely look into it for sure. Absolutely. I'll take your advice, your guys' advice. Technique. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, the cool thing is I got the wiki as much of a pain in the you know what it is. If you were sponsored, yeah, okay. That's not the end of the world, though. Honestly, I would much rather have a base of followers towards something. But there's a lot of interesting things that I'm going to get into, and it's going to go way beyond trains as well. I'm going to get to that, but this is interesting because, of course, this is my base, and I wanna be able to address this affiliate partnership program. Mixer wasn't the one that I was thinking. There was something else, but okay. So, anyways, let me segue into where I was going with this. Um, so as you can see, I certainly have. I got back into Run 8 more recently, even though I'm not that. It's not something that I say I look forward to on weekends, but then I get into it and I'm fine. The only reason why I didn't do it tonight was, like I said, I was short on time earlier. Um, and I got this new webcam by going out today and got it, so that was good. And I wanted it for not it has nothing to do with Run 8, but I got the webcam because I wanted to be able to do things like this once in a while. I can use that for both Run 8 purposes, Q&As. I can do that for anything. But the other big thing that as I was looking at the chat here, which is really cool because I like to be interactive with you guys, especially if plans and ideas. I'll talk more about Run 8 probably later on, but the the one thing that I am probably going to get myself into um, is writing a book. I'm like, what? What's that got to do with Run 8 or trains? It's got nothing to do with Run 8. It's got nothing to do with trains. It's got nothing to do with anything but uh, what's really in my mind as far as a lot of things. Like Quincy kind of touched on it. And this is where the segue comes in. Um, we were talking about, and I can use CSX as an example. So let's do it as a trains, and I'll use it as an example. So CSX under Hunter's wonderful leadership, as well as what he did with CN and CP when he was there, was able to increase the stock portfolios of the company. I don't know how CSX is doing on the stock market. I assume they are probably doing pretty well. The employees can't stand him. They never have. Any place that he has been the CEO, the employees can't stand him. And the thing about what happens there is the world we live in. is continuously evolving and changing before our eyes. I'm 45, going to be 46 in May. And it's kind of funny that I talk about AI a lot for Run 8. And I talk about AI because I see benefits of AI. I know what having AI in to be able to take the being able. I'll read the chat in a bit, but I'll get this out first, and then I'll take a look at the comments shortly. But I'll get this out of my system first. Um, the AI that I talk about in Run 8, for example, is something that would benefit the hobby. So to have the ability to have such a huge network, but to have the ability to have an AI dispatcher, to have just like having the AI trains in version 2, that to me was a giant leap forward. Unfortunately, it segregated a lot of things, but having that ability made it possible to have more realistic sessions. So I see it more positive than negative, though it has severed the community in many ways because what it's done is a lot of people have been able to do single player now. You don't have the demand for people who want to dispatch because they can dispatch in single player on their own and Railfan and they're fine. They don't care about multiplayer. So what's uh, what's going to happen? And as far as the AI, when I talk about it, I'm talking about AI in terms of, well, you have the AI with that, you have future AI. I'm talking about AI dispatcher. I'm also talking about AI switching, AI humping. All these things will help not only a single player, but will help a struggling server or a struggling community be able to run a bigger server that has more routes and more connections to basically make it more, you don't need as many people. Well, that's the simulated world. What happens in the real world? The real world AI, they try to sell AI as will make your lives easier. And it can. But what happens in the real world is if you take for me personally, I'm in my mid 40s, as I said. I remember growing up as a kid and I would watch a show called Happy Days, which was basically a sitcom about the good old times in the 50s and the 60s when, everything was cool and you had the Fonz and you had cool cars, cool people, everything was really cool back then. And you would use the term cool even into the 70s and 80s because everything was just cool. And for me, I mean, this was before the computer age. This was before, I mean, video game systems were just coming into play around the 80s. I remember the 70s very well as a kid, even though my memory's not that great. I still have a lot of memories of what it was like to be a child. And I remember what things were like then. I grew up at a time where I could see that things weren't as good as they seemed. Something didn't seem right because that was when I first started hearing of, you know, layoffs. I mean, layoffs have always been around, but I started feeling as though things maybe weren't as good as you learned in school, or things were going to be as good as you thought they were, or something wasn't right. But I went along and I went with it. The book that I'm probably going to be writing is called Waking from the Dream. And Waking from the Dream is about the quote unquote American dream, but it's not just an American dream, it's a Canadian dream, it's worldwide. Because we're all in this doctoration that you go to school, you work hard, you do, you do your good grades, you be nice to people, blah 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 blah. and you work hard, you get good things. Good work comes and you get good things, and you get to retire and with a lot of money in your bank account and everything's cool. And I know some people are doing okay right now, and I know some people are doing great, but um, things have changed a lot. What used to think about how much you hear of stories about how much it used to cost for a car. Now, of course, there's inflation, which is a whole other topic. Inflation and the monetary supply and how money is really debt and the advent of the consumer debt we're in. We have been globally in a bubble for a very, very long time. The stock market recently, as of the last few weeks, has had its little shakeups, and they're starting I won't get into Donald Trump or politics at this point, but anyways, um, I have pros and cons with Trump. Let's just say that for various reasons, and I won't get into that. It really has nothing to do with leadership at all. It has nothing to do with political parties at all. It has more to do with it has to do more with, and I'm a Canadian, so first of all, and I mean, I could talk for hours about my wonderful prime minister, like, give me a break. But anyways, I'm not even going to talk about that guy, or the guy before him, because the other guy before him wasn't that great either, and he was from the other party. So I mean, anyways, I won't get into that right now. But yeah, it's a myth. I'm just starting to read the chat a little bit because I'm trying to concentrate. Just basically, I'll go through the chat real quick in a little bit, but basically, what's happened is there was a time where when you talk about AI and technology, there used to be people who picked up, basically shoveled horse crap back in the days, or dealt with horses when the advent of steam and the cars started coming into play. Well, what happened then is you still had workers that were able to be retrained to build cars instead of building and working on horses. So you had the people power that could easily be retrained into something, even if there was a little bit of specialization, like auto mechanics and different things. You had those possibilities out there. Then you had the Industrial Revolution, same thing. A lot of different jobs you lost, a lot of different, things became more efficient, but you still had other jobs out there. Everything that makes your life easier is great, but eventually what ends up happening, now you have the AI. And what's happening now is AI is been from, I can't say exactly what year this started, but it's been doing it for a long time. It's happening in the railroad industry as well. I mean, positive train control. I mean, we know about that and the benefits of it, and human errors, which, yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, there's human errors, but there's all kinds of other things going on beside human errors. First of all, the infrastructure, you can take a look at that, and you know, but anyways, I'm sure Quincy has some comments about that, but I mean, let's get real. They're heading for one. They want one man crews. In fact, they want zero man crews if they can do it that way, and if they go with the same thing, But anyways, I don't want to get too much onto the train thing just yet. The point of all this is AI it's all about cutting cost. It's not about making lives better for people. It's about cutting costs and cutting labor out. The problem with that is what is when people all of a sudden don't have a job to go to, and they say there's a gap of skilled trade and various things, and they need education for this and that, and I'm like, okay, well, if there is, maybe they need more tradespeople, maybe they need more this, maybe there are a lot of jobs out there. I'm not too sure, but the majority, there's only so many people out there, and the population, despite the fact that it's almost they're trying to get they're almost trying to shame people from having men and women mating or having relationships and all that other stuff, with all this whole freedom of sexuality and you can't and all these oh man, I can go on and on of the attack on the family. But I mean, wages, it takes two, and for the longest time, it has take two incomes. I'm a single guy. I've been divorced for a while. This is why I need extra money. Even though I have a good job and I'm making 35 hours a week, I'm still in deficit spending, and I don't even have cable. I have a car. I have a very cheap apartment. I pay child support, which I'm forced to, even though I do other things for my son, which I spend money on, such as karate and all that, but that's not good enough to the government. And it has nothing to do with the X. The X has nothing to do with it. It has to do with the government stepping in. So the government tries to be the nanny state of everything, and it's crazy what's happening. And getting back to this whole thing and I'll relate this to the railroads. What I found back when I worked for a corporation, they got rid of all the small profit jobs or contracts. I had plenty of hours, but what happened and why I lost my hours, and I was working there for 6 years at a company for a market research firm. That used to be an independent, sorry, it used to be a limited, small business, limited company, and it got taken over by a corporate conglomerate, international corporate conglomerate corporation, and suddenly they got rid of all the small fish that made small profits, but they kept the big ones. What did that mean? It meant that I had less hours because I didn't have as much work to do. So that meant that they didn't have to pay as much labor, and they could care less about the small profits because when it comes to corporations and when it comes to anything that has a corporation in it, it's all about return on investment. Everything is return on investment. They want the highest. They don't care about profits. They don't care about just making money. They don't care about the person underneath. They have no conscience. It's all about the return on investment. That's what's happening with the railroads. That's what's happening with the media. That's what's happening with everything. It's not the free markets. The free markets are fine. There are no free markets. They're rigged. And the stock market, you got companies buying back their stocks right now at record rates. And you take a look at the railroads. What's the railroads doing? They're cutting off all their smaller railroads that they don't care about the small little customers, and they start leasing out or selling the railroads off to smaller companies who are also a lot of times corporations like Rail America and all those other ones. But they can do it a little bit more efficiently because they have the resources to do it. But yeah, it's yeah, it's not good because eventually when you don't have people making money or having being able to spend, this is why China's slowing down too, even though China is one of the biggest um, leaders right now in the world markets. But they're slowing down too, and we're headed for something big that's been waiting for a long time. And just because the markets are doing good and the equities are doing good, that's just people speculating on money. So I want to write about that. I want to, and I think I have a lot to offer about that. And I think talking about it more, I'm no expert on everything, but I can, I do a lot of research on this stuff, and I've done that for a while. Even when I wasn't working, I did a tons of it. And now I do a little bit of it at a time, but it's been on my mind for some time. Anyways, I'll take a look at your comments here. Holy crap. So, yeah, stock market's almost, yeah, holy crap. Yeah, lots of chat in here. Sorry guys, I couldn't keep up. I just wanted to get that thought out. Uh yeah. Wow, there's a lot of chat going on. Okay. So I'm going back in the chat, so I'm just gonna yeah, the band hammers. Okay. Okay, so I'm just getting back reading your chat. Wow, you guys this is cool. Uh yeah, ground up. Okay, I saw that. You need yeah. Okay, sorry, I went back too far. Okay, I'm getting there. Sorry. Oh, okay, I went way too far back. I'll appeal to the younger audience. This I'm a 45-year-old old fart, but I'll appeal to the younger audience, really? So they got rid of the Tropicana juice train, really? I didn't know about that. See, I don't follow that stuff. No, the AI in Run 8 won't swap cars in the industry. That's something I would like to see happen. Um, American Dream's the myth, absolutely. Lee Smith Harper didn't play Mr. Dress Up. Yeah, uh, true. Yeah, I want Harper back as much as he was an arrogant son of a you know what. I'll take Harper back any day than what we got right now. But anyways, um, yeah, it's just the job numbers. I don't know. You would know more about it than me, but obviously they're trying to push for that. I don't know how powerful the unions are to hold it off. Yeah, the child support isn't too bad for me. Um, the more I make, the more it's gonna hurt. Right now, it's not so bad. Um, don't pay, lose your license, can't work. Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna push it. Yeah, they can garnish wages here too. They'll do all kinds of things for it. And what happens is I'm going from 20,000. I'm paying on was 20,000 last year to now or the year prior. So I'll be 30,000. Come May, I imagine my child support payments are going to go up. And what happens is because of disability, and this is government, this is the government BS. My ex and my son does not see a cent of it. What happens is it cuts my ex-wife's um, disability. So they mandate because of my pay, whatever it is, the government in their infinite wisdom has a computer program that basically I spit in my gross revenue for the year, which it's been higher in the past, so I know it'll go back up. I got lucky with 20,000. Used to be a minimum. There was one time when I wasn't working and then I had to pay a bare minimum of something, and that was court ordered. I should have never granted her a divorce to begin with. I should have stayed in that home because then she would have had to prove because they favor the family as long as you're there. But as soon as I granted the separation and left, I lost all my rights. Biggest mistake I should have stayed right there because I never abused her. I never cheated on her. I never did anything other than she wasn't happy. Whatever. That's not enough to get a divorce, but you know, And unfortunately, once you're out of the home, that's when you kind of lose your rights. And uh, I pay that, and I do other things. I mean, karate, I pay 50/50, and the karate payments coming up every 3 months. It's going to be in Canadian dollars. I heard today, she said it's going to it'll basically be $116 every month, and I pay for half of tournaments. He's already out of soccer. I take him with me on these trips anywhere I go. Um, which of course, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't matter. I'd have to pay for a motel room anyways, but uh, yeah, well, I know the government's watching and listening to me, and the government can kiss my ass. I don't care. Honestly, I know they are. And now I got a webcam. Don't worry, I unplug it at night. I just plugged it in now. It's in a USB cord. As soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to be unplugging this thing. I do not have a camera hooked up. I don't have a smartphone. I don't have anything to, well, I don't know what else can record me in this place, um, but of course, anytime I'm doing this live stream, the government can kiss my ass. Yeah, I mean, seriously. They got enough of their own issues to deal with. They want to come after me, go ahead. Good luck. Uh, Run 8 learning curve is steep, but what you get. Yeah, Run 8's cool. And there's a learning curve with me as far as developing too, and Quincy's aware of that too, and that's something that I'm gonna have to tackle. Yeah, keyboard cheat sheet, yeah, Run 8 physics. Yeah, 1 USD equals 129 Canadian, and our cost of living is also higher because everything, we are a huge importer from the United States. I think we export shitty oil. No, we export more now. We export lumber, which is an interesting dispute. NAFTA is interesting to see. Um, I actually do imports at work, so I'm watching the chat now live. So I've gone through the chat. Thanks, guys. I think I went through everything. Hopefully, didn't miss anything. Your comments were saying. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's just something for me to. I mean, Brad Brown, he always used to joke. Well, I don't know if he called joke or Dale. Dale was the guy who got me into Run 8 actually, the recommendation 6 years ago. Um, but he used to joke around anytime I'd post on Train Sim, it would be like a story or whatever. Yeah, I'm at 710. I started at 700 6 months ago. Oh yeah, yeah, I know we have other stuff. I was only joking. I was talking about that shitty oil out in Alberta, the oil sands stuff that gets. I don't know if it's being pumped down all the way down to the Gulf now. I don't even think the United States is getting any of it. I think it just goes right out to New Orleans and off to the ships. I don't even think the United States gets any of it, which is kind of ironic. But well, maybe they do. The Dakota pipeline or something. Does U.S. get some of our oil? I don't know. They get some of our water. They definitely get some of our hydro. We have a lot of hydropower up here. Um, I mean, we got exports. We got Jim Carrey, or whatever the Canadian movie star, or whatever. I don't know. Whatever the hell we do, I don't know what we do anymore. Saturday Night Live people. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, the. Well, the one bedrooms here, you go 45 minutes north, yes, not as much. Niagara, the lowest now of what I've seen advertising, because I was worried about potentially being evicted. It had nothing to do with me personally, just because I thought maybe the new owners were going to try to flip the house, um, basically renovate the hell out of it, and then if they did that, of course, major renovations, they'd evict you. It's 60 days notice. But I started looking around, and it was most places smaller than this. I have a one bedroom basement in a house, and I pay 710. I used to pay 700, but I've been here 6 years. I just got my first rent increase since I've been here. I don't pay hydro. I don't pay water. I have free laundry. I have free parking. Um, I have no other expenses, but yet I'm still in deficit spending. Um, you know, that's just when you add everything up, and the way, I mean, the internet plans are ridiculous here. Even the lowest, I mean, they got me at 350 gigabytes. I don't need 350 gigabytes. Are you kidding me? I used to barely, I had a 100 gigabyte limit once, but now their plans, I'm with Bell now. I was with Cogeco, but their cable lines suck. And now, I'm with Bell. I've been with them for a while, and um, I subscribe to New Japan Pro Wrestling. I used to subscribe to WWE, but that required, in Canada, it required a cable subscription, since that's the only thing I watch is a little bit of professional wrestling. Um, so that's only $10, 999 yen to be exact. So it's about $10 Canadian per month, and that's streaming on YouTube, or not YouTube, sorry, their streaming service. It's been great. So, and I don't do any other entertainment, so yeah, I know. That was what I was afraid of. Well, legally they cannot do it. They cannot evict you and then automatically put the place up for hire. Um, Now imagine trying to live in Toronto. Yes. But here's one thing about Niagara. I see the reason why our housing market is gone absolutely nuts. You think Toronto, I know Toronto's bad. I get it. It's one of it's one of the most expensive in the world right now. I think it's the seventh major city in the world that is in a housing bubble. Is the top of Canada. Only the second would be Vancouver. I think it's overtaken them. Vancouver used to be the hot one. They clamped down. They put some taxes with foreign investment over there. Now everybody's going to Seattle. So they went from one place to another, so it didn't really matter. Um, Asian investment and all that other stuff that's buying up like crazy. Uh, YouTube Red. What? No, they have 60 here. I've already looked at it. Trust me. It's 60. It's 60-day notice for eviction. The other thing that's going on right now, um, as far as one of the laws that I looked into, as far as Canada, if they were to evict me just to get the rent higher, it's sometimes it's hard to prove. But if they decided to do it, they would have to, number one, they would have to say that they had to do it for renovation purposes, or they would have to have a reason. They can vacate, or if a place, for example, the upper apartment upstairs, they're leaving on their own accord, or either that or they are getting evicted because they deserve to be. Not the main floor above me, they're fine. Even the dogs, I mean, the dogs are the dogs. They're just dogs. They, as long as I can sleep at night, I don't care. Um, but there's three apartments here. You got the basement, myself, main floor, and then the upstairs. The upstairs, I don't know why they didn't get evicted for some of the things that's been going on, but apparently they're leaving on their own accord. I thought they were supposed to leave last month, but maybe they're leaving this month. I don't know what's going on. Net neutrality, I don't know what's I hear different things with the neutrality thing. The biggest thing with what's happening with that. Well, first let me finish my thought on the whole thing. It's hard to prove the eviction, but if a landlord purposely evicts somebody to get the rent, unless they evict you for and they can cite very if they have good lawyers, they can cite good reasons, and but it's very hard to prove. But if you can prove it, you can take them to the cleaners big time. And the landlord laws are very strict in Ontario. So they tend to, because number one, we're more left leaning anyways, unfortunately. I guess good for me, but it doesn't help business. That's for sure, small business. But what they'll end up favoring the tenants. The landlords are it's a lot tougher. Um, so, but it's still it's hard to prove if they do. So far, I haven't met the new owner yet. I haven't heard any. We haven't had any arrangements. I don't know what's. Hey, Rick, how's it going? Uh, 1,300 to 2,575. I don't even make 2,000. If I had to pay 1,000, I would be in trouble. Yeah, and that was where it was coming to, and I was getting really concerned about it because if that had happened, yeah, I don't know what would happen. Um, my lease ran up. I never had a lease for the longest time. I had a lease the first year I was here. I had a lease last year. I'm not sure about there's certain law there's has to be a probable cause or reason as far as I know. Like in other words, if they no longer want to rent and the owner wants to live here, that is a reason enough that you can evict somebody and but then again, if all of a sudden they turned around and rented it and you could prove it, that they have rent what the hell is it? Is it 3%? There's a limit of 3% that you can increase rent a year in the province of Ontario right now. And I wasn't even a 3% increase from 700 to 710, so I was month to month for 4 or 5 years. And I think I'm month to month again unless the new owners want me to sign a lease. If it's a 1 year, I'll sign it. I don't care. I'll sign a 1 year. But yeah. So yeah, so that's when I was talking about my book and all that other stuff. That's kind of the idea of what do I think about President Trump at the moment? Oh, this will get interesting for it depends on because I could be actually my opinions of President Trump will probably play both into the pros and cons, or it actually will play on both sides depending upon if somebody's on a particular side. I tend to not be on political sides. Um, so President Trump, let's talk about President Trump, shall we? First of all, um, the better choice won, as far as I'm concerned. However, um, I called that he was going to win. I thought he was going to win. I don't know if he was the best choice in the party, but he beat him. So populism is very huge right now because people are ticked off. However, the media is gone absolutely apeshit bonkers, and the media that portrays President Trump, including if you look on Market Watch, the recent stock market dip they blamed on Trump, which is total BS because of the tariffs he wanted to put on. Um, Here's the thing about Trump, and I'm Canadian, so I guess who cares? I can make an opinion. Um, Free speech, crosses borders. He's not my president, but that's okay. Um, He'd do better that yeah, he can certainly come over here and be prime minister. I'd be fine with that right now. I don't care. Whatever. Um, it's interesting when you look at the media and they talk about the Russia conspiracies, and yet you have Putin. That's him and Putin are going at it with talking about who's got the bigger missiles or whatever. Uh, and the media is obsessed to think that there's this Russian conspiracy, which is a bunch of garbage that was cooked up by the Hillary Clinton and the DNC. So that saying aside, in the media and all the golden showers on the beds in Russia and all that other garbage that they made up, and how the polls were saying that Hillary was going to win in a landslide, and all this other garbage that they got wrong, and the constant fake news that's coming out of everything. Fox is not perfect either by any chance. I mean Fox was a big Bush supporter, so. But I'll say this before I look into the chat and see what's see what comments are there, because this could be good. Um, the one thing I'm finding that the media is not doing, and they should be, is where's the media when you have a presidential candidate who called the stock market a bubble and a fake economy under Obama, which he was right. It wasn't Obama's fault all the way, but you know, there was a time where I supported Obama too, by the way. I'm not, I've been on both sides. I've voted left, right, whatever. I don't vote at all. I don't bother with that garbage anymore. Um, and you've got Trump, who is now taking responsibility for the market, that is his, and the market's been great under him and all this other stuff. So suddenly the market's real when it was fake before. And then you've got him talking about nation building and about all the countless wars. And yet, the funny thing is, it was Russia who ended, or who has ended or neutralized most of the ISIS threat in Syria, who happens to be allies with them, and yet there's no proof of sarin gas by Assad, even though the media keeps on claiming it and the United States keeps on spinning it. There's no proof of it. Now Iran, the thing about Iran that's going on with them, I don't know so much about the whole nuclear stuff. Iran seems like a very easy boogeyman to me. So is China, but then again, China does a lot of business, so you can't rattle China too much because that'll really dump the stock market, because China does a lot of business still with the United States and corporations, so you cannot say too much about China. You can talk about their fair trade and all that other stuff, and you can talk about different tariffs, and you can talk about, you can talk about Mexico and all kinds of different things, but ultimately, when companies do business, and even NAFTA, he has to tread very lightly. He can take a tough stance, but so far, NAFTA's not, they're not talking about getting out of NAFTA and all that other stuff, even though NAFTA is horrible. NAFTA is, a lot of these trade agreements are horrible because they, you know, there is pro-business elements, but there's also a lot of loss of jobs. And where's the media? Where's the media criticize? We're calling Trump on the hypocrisy. They want to talk about the Russian conspiracies. They want to talk about him holding a cup of water and other crap. And where are the Democrats? Where's their ideas? What are their ideas? Where's their opposition? Where is it? There's nothing. They got nothing that's alleged. All it is get Trump out, and and then they're talking about Oprah Winfrey in 2020. Like, get real. What is she running on? What's the platform? Give more tax money? I mean, I'm sorry, but the United States is never going to be able to pay off the debt that keeps on going, and Trump's just increasing it. This whole thing with the military and the military spending. Oh yeah, yeah, keep the military up and high and everything like that. How many bases they got around the world protecting, and the war on terror and the war on drugs, and oh my God, it's government's gone nuts. And if anything, I would have much rather see somebody like a Rand Paul get in. I would have much rather see his dad get in when he was running or had a chance, and he was basically shut out. Much more, much more sound mind, I think. Um, Trump is the lesser of two evils, and I've come to accept that. I heard that for a while, and I kind of said, give him a chance, right? And maybe I still will. I think he's a better leader than our current prime minister. A lot of people would say that's nuts. Oh, Trudeau, he's such a pretty boy. He's so cute. Oh, don't tell, cut off women in this. Oh, we like to take the, we can't say, we have to say persons or whatever the hell garbage, and changing our national anthem. You can't call guys like, guy's an idiot. I mean, they want to talk about Trump. Come look at our prime minister. You want to talk about an idiot? I got nothing good to say about. When Trudeau first came in, everybody all on the right said all kinds of things about Trudeau, and I at first I was like, well, let's give the guy a chance. He hasn't done anything yet, and I didn't really follow Canadian. I don't follow Canadian politics as much as I do U.S. But now I'm. The great thing is I follow world news. A lot of it's, of course, U.S. dominated because they are still one of the major players in what happens in the world. And Canada gets in the headlines quite a bit because of this goofball Trudeau. But anyways, let me see these. I gotta see these chat comments. Sorry. Uh, okay. I belong to the No Party. Yeah, that's a good party to belong to. Yeah, I do too. I have a very vested interest in what happens down south, and in fact, what Trudeau wants to do with this gender neutral stance and sunny days, Canada, sunny days, or whatever the hell he said in his stupid ass speech. I don't care. I could care. I could care less about that. And you can put all the laws and say, you want to, you know, a guy's a guy, a woman's a woman. If they want to call themselves whatever, if they want to have whatever religion they want, or whatever they want to do, or whatever God they want to believe in, go ahead. Do what you want. Don't force me to go to your doctrine or whatever. I mean, my problem with Trump is because he rolled back one of the major regulations for the railroad, which puts my life in danger and everyone else. What was the regulation? I'm curious about which one that is. Uh, Yeah, North Korea is very quiet now because South Korea is trying to make peace with them, and yeah, North Korea is very quiet now. You don't hear that much in the news suddenly, but then again, Kim Jong isn't firing missiles off all over the damn place either. But no, no, well, I think the attention's going on Iran personally. Iran just announced the other day that they are no longer, um, they will no longer transact in U.S. dollars. The last countries to do that were Libya, Iraq, um, there's other ones too. But we know what happened to Iraq and Libya. So, but it's a lot different now because Iraq and Libya weren't allies of Russia. So, and Russia made an interesting statement the other day. Now, mind you, he used the word nuclear with it, is that if there's any nuclear attack on an ally to Russia, they will respond in full force. They've also have what could be seen as a fake news or CGI graphics or whatever they have, or maybe he's bluffing. But Russia, and I'm not a Russia sympathizer by any means, but um, Pence is worse than Trump. I probably agree with that. I don't know too much about him, but I don't trust him. He don't look right. He kind of reminds me of I get that feeling, the same feeling I had with oh, what's his face, Al Gore. I saw Al Gore the first time, and he just, like global warming. But no, no, before the global warming thing, I saw Al Gore, and I'm just like, Al Gore, no, no. I didn't mind Clinton, Slick Willie there. I didn't mind him. He was okay. He didn't bother me. Trudeau. China's a big holder of American debt. Yep. And oh, what else we got here? Well, all these guys, even Trudeau, I mean, what did Obama do? Honestly, you could say the same thing about Trump, but then again, it's all about money or the amount of money to put you in. You either have the money or you have the money to put you in, and just follow the money. Um, I mean, there's no democracy. It's all pay to play to get into these things they call government. Everybody spends taxes. When you think of the Federal Reserve and the Income Tax Act came in at the same time. what was it, 1916? Coincidence? Because in the Constitution, you didn't have to pay taxes. And then it was amended because they didn't need taxes until the Federal Reserve came in, and then you had central banking, and then that kind of spread worldwide. Hey, it worked in the United States, can work in other countries, and IMF's born, and mm, fun stuff. Taxation, well, we'll see. Uh, let's see. American Cable Cover does not. Absolutely. Neither do corporations. Corporations only care about. I got nothing wrong with business. See, a lot of people get confused. A lot of people on the left, actually, and I'm not against anybody on the left. Let me make that perfectly clear. I'm not against liberals. I'm not worried. I'm not a conservative. I lean more right, but that don't mean nothing. I'm more three-dimensional because I believe in a lot of the social causes. I believe in a lot of very social programs. I even followed the Zeitgeist movement for a while there, and these are a lot of people on the right look at that and say, it's like planned engineering and geo and like communism and all this other stuff. Well, nah, yeah, it's about it's not about a particular political doctor, and it's about how the world could be better. But then again, a lot of the things on the left start out as good and then they get corrupted. Oh, that's just my hand in front of the camera there. I forget my camera's down there. I'm thinking my camera's way across the room and it's just like right on my rail driver here. It's like right down there. But let's see here. So I'm gonna end this at 10 o'clock. It's 9:50 right now. So let's see. Upgraded banking systems are supposed to be implemented, especially since the influx of oil unit trains. Okay, hold on a second. I gotta read that. Isn't it better? Sorry, I'm just reading this. It's supposed to be implemented, especially since the influx of trains. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. Amtrak, yeah. But PTC wasn't in that latest Amtrak. But PTC is so freaking expensive to implement, from what I understand. I mean, I've seen the Vader signals go in, and I guess that's part of the PTC system to see that once you see the Vader signals start going in, various interlocking, because that somehow works with the PTC. I guess they got the satellite systems. Well, this is CSX in Niagara Falls, New York. I noticed, which only has one Amtrak train or two. Well, no, I shouldn't say it does have one. It in Canada coming across is one. The Maple Leaf comes both ways, but then they have the Empire service coming in and out. So I guess they're upgrading the Empire service to positive train control. They used to have the searchlight signals there, so I don't know, but uh, can a trade war with China happen? Damn right it can. And I think that's where they're headed. Um, Trump is to me I think Trump knows what's going on. He's smarter than he sounds. So supposed to move past the standard AR braking system but Trump killed it. I so are these government things, like government mandated things? I don't know. How can Trump, because it's got something to do with one of the federal. I didn't know he killed any of that, but I mean I know he's killed some of the trade agreements, and or like, well, they wanted to get into what the hell is it called? Trans-Pacific Partnership, Environmental Protection Agency, the Climate Accord. I didn't know about that one. Yeah, okay. The government regulation, I understand that. Um, the problem is a double-edged sword, I think. On one side, you've got the government regulations, which basically there's too many of them. And what happens with a lot of the government regulations is businesses cannot compete. But on the other time, you don't have fair business in there because you have so much corporate monopolies that have taken over with merger and acquisitions and crony capitalism. I'm not talking about regular capitalism. I'm talking about the ones where they've just bought up, you know, they've bought off dying railroads on the. I mean, what's the game of Monopoly? What's the purpose of it? To own everything, right? I, you know, it's as somebody who wants to make more money, yeah, I would love to be a millionaire. That'd be great and all, and I'd love to be able to have time and do vacations and all that other stuff. I don't know if I need to be big enough like like Jeff Soros or whatever, or whoever else, or Elon Musk, who gets money from he gets a lot of money from the government, quite frankly, from subsidize. I mean, I like SpaceX and all. I don't mind Elon Musk. I think Elon Musk gets a lot of flask, but he's had a lot of failed projects too. But at the same time, TPP, yeah, Trans-Pacific Partnership. FRA, Federal Railroad. Yeah, I know. Um, by rights, the legal system should be involved as opposed to having regulations. You have too many regulatory. I think you need some regulations, especially when things are not right, and but there's so much freaking regulation now. I mean, you need some regulations. You can't have none and expect things to just not happen. But the legal system should be able to function to hold companies like CSX or whatever who don't implement certain breaking, or whoever, like, I'm not an expert in the field, so, but to be able to, private companies or corporations should be legally responsible and held accountable if they're not up to par with safety. Um, if and I understand, because your life's in the hands, and these regulations have helped. Um, Gun control's a big one too going on right now, and there's a lot of, I can get into that too. I mean, I'm not big on guns or anything like that, but I understand the big hoopla going on about Second Amendment in the States right now too, especially when you have all these shootings. But the thing is, it's lack of the enforcement that's in place, like the FBI, which is too busy investigating Trump, but you don't have suddenly the FBI, who isn't investigating somebody who's suspicious, and then there's talk of two shooters, and there's a lot of people with a lot of money who, and I'm not like a huge conspiracy theorist, but I do pay attention to certain things, and it's just it's kind of interesting with the Second Amendment and the war, and now actually Trump is going against his base. I don't know if it's a ploy or just a tactic, and he's using it to negotiate or what he's doing. But he's talked about a lot of things, with anything from amnesty, which is against what he stood for on on the campaign trail, and his base. Why isn't Hillary Clinton in prison, or at least being up on charges for, you know, she should be up on something, I would think, but I don't know. Warren Buffett. Oh, I know the railroad infrastructure is a disaster, but ultimately, I think it's up for these railroad companies to become accountable. I don't think it's up to government to make sure. And I mean, the infrastructure. The problem with it, I know it's 10 o'clock now. I should end this really soon, because I did want to do a few other things tonight, but it's a good topic, and this is the kind of thing that I want to get into more and more. I love train sims and all, and don't get me wrong, I'll get back into that tomorrow night. But I love having these conversations. Um, Guns, mass shootings, everyday headlines. Yeah, yeah. It's. I think it's. Yeah, I think it's. I think it's number one. I think it's part society, and I think it's part. There's a part ploy going on too. I think there's a war on guns. The bad guys aren't going to care about gun laws, and there are some good people who have guns who can protect if they're allowed to. I don't think anything. I come. I got rid of all my dad's guns when he passed away. Oh, that was because my wife didn't want my son to be anywhere near them. Um, Personally, I've never felt the need to have a gun, but I do understand the reasoning behind many who want to protect themselves because the problem, and this isn't just the United States, it's actually in many countries, and it goes back to countries are broke. They really are. And I mean financially, they are broke. They they cannot afford. The problem is politics get in the way because a lot of these politicians want to get reelected. It's interesting. You have somebody like Donald Trump who's in now. He's already announced that he's already announced his candidacy for 2020. I was hoping Obama was going to do something. I still believed in Obama, believe it or not. Like I say, I'll dig the best salesman's pitch every time, but I believed Obama was going to actually change things and give things. I wasn't a big George W. Bush fan, especially with the reactions, going after, with the Iraq and there's a lot of other. I won't even get into 9/11. Uh, there's so many things with 9/11 I can talk about, but no, I'm not going to even touch that tonight because I'll never shut up. Um, but countries are broke. They cannot. They keep on raising. One thing you hear in the headlines, and you don't hear it as much, is the debt ceiling. They constantly raise the debt ceiling, constantly. And one of the things I encourage everybody to do if they haven't done it, and take a look at Mike Maloney and Hidden Secrets of Money. Just look on for Mike Maloney on YouTube. Now, yes, he is a gold. He's sold a book with gold and silver. I have never bought a single cent off of Mike Maloney. I subscribe to him on YouTube. I have never bought a single product from him, yet he was the reason why I got into gold and yeah, and other precious metals. He was the reason why I became interested in it. And yet I never bought anything from him, which is kind of crazy. But that's just because I'm in Canada, so it was a little bit more economical for me, or more easier for me to deal with a Canadian dealer. But these countries in the United States, they will never put a politician will never stop with the punch bowl. And it's just like constant drugs, constant. Let's keep on raising the debt ceiling. Let's keep raising yeah, oh, they talk about the debt ceiling and talk about fiscal spending and what have you. I mean, Trump talks about infrastructure. Okay, everybody wants to see infrastructure. They know the infrastructure. We know the infrastructure. You take a look at the train systems in Canada, then you look at a place like Europe, who at one time wasn't spending so much money on wars as much as the United States, and even Canada. Canada, I don't know what the hell. They've collected taxes for so many years. I don't know what the hell. I mean, Canada. I mean, some of the parklands look great, but we don't have a great infrastructure. We have a pretty good highway system. Our infrastructure is not too bad, but as far as our rail transit system, it's okay. I mean, we had a big disaster in Quebec, but that was more having to do with letting a train or whatever the failure was with the Quebec disaster. And I mean, yeah, I mean, you have a bunch of tankers and other things, you know, stuff like that can happen. Um, but does it happen? You know, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's obviously it's somebody's got to pay for that, and a lot of people paid their lives, you know, properties for that. But anyways, countries are broke worldwide, and you're starting to see in Europe you got negative interest rates. Trade wars are going to happen. Trade wars, currency wars, and unfortunately, eventually it's going to lead to world wars. And I think it's all heating up personally. I think I'm an optimistic guy, but honestly, I don't have faith in any government worldwide. And the thing about these politicians, um, these politicians don't have nobody's ever going to get in. If there's one place that it could happen is the United States, because in Canada or Russia, for example, I mean, Putin's up for election in Russia, and yeah, and I think a lot of what he was saying in his speech the other day in Russia, if you didn't catch it, because there was a lot of rhetoric about his arsenal, and he has some very valid points, but he's also maybe bluffing, and he's doing political maneuvers to try to get himself reelected as well. I think Putin's a pretty good leader personally. Do I believe he's perfect? No, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect, but um, these countries are they're heavily in debt. There's too much. There's not enough people working. There's too much people on the on the payrolls of government. There's too much people on assistance. There's too much people, and this goes back to this whole thing with a to me with a major society breakdown. Um, I'm actually looking for a crash. I'll benefit from it. At least that will at the beginning. Medium term, and for my son's future, I don't know. Because I there's certain things I will benefit from. But now I'm hedging the other way too, so we'll see what happens. Let me see, let me just read these comments here, and I should start winding down for this evening. Uh, yeah, and the United States has always been, uh, as far as guns, yeah, it's always, I do believe the NRA has you know, they have their own political influence, and the gun lobby. It certainly exists. I think I think between the political parties, there's always the middle ground, somewhere between. The truth usually lies somewhere in the middle. I've seen it even if I follow what used to be easily could point out the fake news of the left on right media like Breitbart, then you can see how Breitbart's just, you know, you can tell how much they're cheerleading the right and not really reporting the truth. So they're all guilty of it. Fox was guilty of it with the George W. Bush. You had Sean Hannity out there, who I love some of his reporting and some of the things he had to say, you know, in support of Trump and against Hillary Clinton, and what the Democrats have done and some of their hypocrisy. But they're all biased, really, and Fox just happens to be on the other. I don't trust them anyways. There's very few outlets, so a lot of them on YouTube that I do, the ones on YouTube, but there's a fair amount that I do trust. I won't get into sources right now, but anyways, um, so yeah, the school shootings, they definitely been normalized. But I think it's yeah, but I think there's a lot of false flags, and I still think that there's a lot of I think there's a war on I personally I think there's a war on getting the Americans disarmed because having a disarmed population makes it a lot easier for a tyrannical government to take over. And I don't know what's gonna, I don't know if that's the case, but uh, I don't think it's people, it's mental illness as it was mentioning. I think I saw in here mental illness and anxiety. And and the other thing too is what are they doing? These guys are being watched. A lot of these guys were being watched, and the school didn't want to get involved in it. And there's so much political correctness. There's so much political correctness about everybody's rights and everybody's, oh, you can't report this, or you can't kick somebody, you can't expel somebody, you can't do this, you can't have you know and then CNN, there was I forget the conversation that was going on there, but they had some, I don't know if it was a town hall or whatever the hell it was, but they were talking about this, and people wanted to talk about what was really going on, and they wouldn't let them. They had to keep to that narrative. So it's so much crap. Everything's about a narrative. So I don't buy it. I know what's happening. I know I believe these deaths are real. I don't think these deaths are fake or anything like that. I don't believe in some of the other conspiracy theories that are out there, but I do believe in some, and I believe that some conspiracy theories, such as the government spying, have been proven. Uh, Silent cyber attacks in the United States. Yeah, Obama could have done more, and yet, and the thing is, can you talk about cyber? I don't know too much about the cyber attacks so much. Which ones? There's so many different attacks. Um, Smaller proxy wars, maybe. They are intertwined, but there seems to be. Um, I think Russia, China, and Iran are starting to show a lot of people are intertwined with the United States and the US dollar, but that's changing. The US has had a monopoly on the petrodollar for the longest time. That's changing. And so, yes, there is a lot of business that China does with the United States. The big connection really has to do with the fact that China and the United States is so intertwined. When you're talking about intertwined, Russia to United States to some extent is, but not much, despite the fact of being away from the Cold War, yet the Cold War rhetoric is on. I don't know how much business they do together. I know they do some. Um, but there's still all that Cold War previous before the business really started between the United States. I know there is some. Canada for sure, and other countries have dealt with Russia. Um, the thing is, when United States keeps putting sanctions on these countries now, and then they want to play with the trade war and all that other stuff, China's holding a lot of a lot of aces up their sleeve when it comes to the United States. I mean, don't get me wrong, United States military is holding the biggest aces, but then you got Russia. Um, do I think a world war is going to happen, like that's going to wipe out everything? No. Um, but if it happens, it's it's stupidity anyways. I mean, There's evidence and proof that bunkers are being built by the elites. It's out there. I mean, you can find it. There's tunnels. There's all kinds of crazy things that people have spent millions upon millions of money. There's FEMA camps. There's all kinds of stuff that's out there. There's drills that have taken place. I saw a drill take place in Welland, a military drill that was taking place. I mean, yeah, military drills and all that other stuff take place all the time. Funny, you talk about drills, you talk about shootings. There's always drills going on around the same time these shootings take place. Kind of coincidental. There's too many coincidences. Um, but you know, I have a job during the day. I can't hunt down every and crazy conspiracy theory that's out there, but you'd be surprised at some of the theories that actually have some validity to it. And then there's other people that are out there for fear porn or trying to make get hits on YouTube. So you got to be careful. There is the first word of fake news actually came from sites targeting the term fake news first came when they were talking about sites that were on Facebook and YouTube that were portraying fake headlines as a joke or something like that. That was when the fake news term first came, and then suddenly Trump took it, and when CNN started with them, all of a sudden it's like, no, you're fake news, and ever since that, CNN has been the king of fake news, but they deserve it. It's crazy. Yeah, and they don't like it, but and they're not alone. I mean, you take a look at places like the View, and it's constantly talking about Trump. That's all they got to talk about. All these morning shows. I used to like game shows and stuff like that used to be on, or something that was entertaining or whatever. Hell, I used to even think Oprah and was an interesting show at one time. But so U.S. did sanction North Korea again for what? I don't know. U.S. sanctions are it's all about the thing is the other thing I've been in cryptocurrencies before. I'm not in them right now, but it's um, it's like Russia can't afford a major conflict. Hell, they can barely afford to do Syria. Um, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. It's one thing with Russia, yeah, they can't afford, but they also have Syria that backed them, and their allies. I'm sure they're paying. I don't know how much they're paying or whatever, whether it be various trade or oil revenues or whatever. Um, they're not. What I really don't know. I honestly don't know. The only thing I do know, here's what I do know. Were pacts in place that after the end of the Cold War, Reagan, Gorbachev, that NATO was not going to expand. NATO was never supposed to expand on Russia's borders. And now Russia they've been having about anti-missile defenses and all kinds of other things. The United States is constantly taking over and pushing their empire further. Uh, I could talk about the whole fake crap going on with um, yeah, whatever. I can't think of the damn country's name now. Oh, what the hell is it? The one country that got Russia annexed down there. I can't think of it right now. My brain's not coming. I can't. But anyways, it was a coup that was done by the United States that over they talk about Russia meddling in U.S. politics. United States. I mean, you had Obama over there with the French elections, and it's so crazy the hypocrisy that they talk about. But I don't know. But as far as the whole the whole thing with Ukraine, that's right. The whole thing with Ukraine, um, that was nothing more than the United States destabilizing. It wasn't about uh, it wasn't about anybody. There was a coup that would take it out with the leadership. Crimea, yes. Russia's Russia's and there was third party in different various, I don't know if it was through the United Nations or whatever, but there was third party uh, viewers or witnesses that watched to make sure that all the elections were legitimate in Crimea. Uh, the people of Crimea voted to be back to part of Russia. Now, the whole thing with Crimea, of course, has to do with the United States having, or not the United States, have Russia having access to that freshwater port, or not the freshwater port, the ocean port, I should say. Otherwise, they needed that port was always theirs, and if that fell out of hands, they lose that port. A lot of the stuff going on with Syria has a lot to do with pipelines and oil pipelines than anything. A lot of it has to do with oil, and the United States is not so energy dependent as people are thinking they are with the shale and all that other stuff. There's supposed to be there's talk of them being an exporter, a major exporter of the world and all this other stuff. Well, if that's the case, then they should have nothing to fear about losing the petrodollar if they're the ones that's going to control all the oil. But I don't know. Uh, I'm not sure. Anyways, my throat is getting dry and I don't want to talk anymore. So thanks for joining me tonight, guys. I think I got most of what, we got into a nice political discussion. And these are the kind of things that I really want to focus on down the road. And I know, I mean, there's a lot out there that I want to be able to do. And I mean, I still want to have fun and deal with trains and all that stuff. Um, so tomorrow night I will go live stream probably 7 p.m. Eastern till 11. I'll run some tests. I'm still planning on 2 Sundays from now, 2 weeks from today, to launch the server again, and I'll get that going, and I should have an official announcement on Run 8 servers, um, probably by the end of the week. I want to make sure it's something that I want to do. Um, I don't want to feel obligated or forced or whatever. So, yeah, if you guys are definitely interested in running on the server, yeah, I mean, let me know. Sundays and Wednesdays, I know a lot of you already have, so it's been nice to speak to you. I'll do more of these as well too. I wish I could find a way to get the chat window in while I was doing the actual live streams, but I'll do these Q&As once in a while. And if we can talk more, not so much about politics, but I could do this once in a while too. But um, there's other projects that I'm going to be looking in on, and I'm still looking at developing a game too. I haven't given that up totally yet, but there's only so much things I can do, and eventually I got to figure out my finances. I got to figure out what I want to do with different directions. Basically residual income. I have to get a residual income that's going to work. So, okay, well, that's cool. Twiddle my thumbs. Ha 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 ha. Waiting for, yeah. Well, that's good. Okay, guys, I appreciate it. And so I will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. and or just before then or whatever, we'll get on, and then I'll keep the chats open for you guys, but I won't be able to review the chats. I'll change something in the channel and I'll post an announcement or whatever. So, anyways, that's all for now. Have a good one. Thanks for joining me, and thanks for contributing with the comments. And yeah, I'll do these a little bit more often because these are pretty cool. So, anyways, thanks a lot, guys. You have a good one, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks a lot. Take care.